Live from the Spill Studios, located behind a liquor store off the I-35 interchange, it's time once again for a couple of cold ones with Corey and Carlisle.
Via Skype.
Via Skype. See, you just ruined the whole effect. They would actually believe we're sitting in the same room together.
I could always cut that out later, too. What? I'll leave the illusion
But
that
you won't.
No, I'll
You'll accidentally leave in the part where I call you back and see what the screenings are, and
No, I'll cut that out and leave the illusion that we're actually spooning while we do this. So what's going on, man? How you doing?
I am doing really well, man. This is my birthday weekend.
I know. How come you didn't invite me to your party?
I did. I could have swore you were invited.
I didn't get an invitation.
Oh, man. Well, it was one of those things where I invited people off Facebook, and then I invited people through Twitter, and then I invited people in person. But since we didn't hang out last week, we did it via Skype.
Yes.
I forgot to go ahead, and it wasn't like we were hanging out. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, come over to my house on Sunday night. We're going to be having a party. So I thought you knew you were invited.
Old Corey got lost in the shuffle. That's all right, man. That's all right. Everybody forgets about me. I'll live.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't have liked it anyway. It was, 50 or 60 geeks hanging out. There was a keg. We had wine. I cooked steaks. It really wasn't,
Man, I had the most awesome gift in the world for you two. I mean, it was
herpes.
It keeps on giving, man. I was ready.
It sure does.
I was ready to give it to you in person. No, I had a real nice gift for you. But you know what? When you said when I didn't get an invitation from you, I said, all right, maybe he didn't want me to come there, and I guess we're just not friends. And I took it back because my feelings were hurt.
Oh well, then I'll have to take your gift back too.
Really? Because
it's your birthday this week as well.
Oh, look. Well, I think I can make some calls, man. Probably get that gift back for you. If I go through my peoples.
How come I haven't been invited to your party?
Because I didn't have one, and I'm not having one. I usually don't throw a big party these days. I just I have everything I want, and as far as I'm concerned, I go to so many parties now that I live vicariously through everybody else. Nobody needs to celebrate my birthday. I celebrate everybody else. So there you go.
Well, I like having parties, so fuck it, I'll do it.
Yeah, no, I heard you had a good time, man. Leon went over there. He said it was fun.
Yeah, it was great. It was cool because it was one of those parties that happen in waves where every few hours a different wave of people would come in and the whole vibe of the party would change. So it was a good time.
See, it was just shitty though because Leon rubbed that shit in my face. He was like,
"Did he?"
Because he was like, "Well, I'm getting ready to go over to Carlisle's party," and I was like, "Really? What kind of party is he having?" He's like, "It's his birthday party," and I was like, "I didn't get an invitation." He's like, "Oh well. Sorry, man. Guess I won't see you there." I was like, "No, I'm exaggerating. He didn't do that."
Oh, okay. Well, he walked in and he went right to the plate, got himself a steak, had himself a beer,
and turned right back around and left after he ate, didn't he?
No, he didn't.
Well, thank you. Happy birthday, Carlisle. See you later.
And then you send me this email going, "Dude, are we recording? What's up?" And I'm like, what? You're not at my fucking party and you want me to record? And then it's like, oh shit, he doesn't know about the party.
Yeah, when I said, hey, are we recording? That was my gentle way of saying, how come the fuck I wasn't invited to your party? Man, you should have seen me too. I was just like, I wasn't even throw a party. But at that point, I was going like, you know what? I'm going to throw a fucking party just so he can't come to it. God damn it.
Oh, man, you weren't supposed see, you definitely should have stopped by, man. You would have come by. I would have given you a hug. We would have had some beers together. I bought 8 pounds of steak and just served steak to everybody.
See,
I had a vegetarian who gave up vegetarianism for the night because the steak smelled so good.
The snakes, what the fuck exotic kind of party we all having out there?
It was a crazy party is what it was.
No. You know what? I'm exaggerating. I really was not mad. I was not even upset because I did think like, you know something? We've been talking about birthdays for the longest time. I'm sure that this is some kind of misunderstanding. And therefore it was. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the top 5, man.
The top 5, what do you ask, Will?
God damn, hold on. I'm not even ready. I've been sitting up here talking about birthdays and shit so long, I haven't even drawn up the top 5 yet. All right, let's see what we got here. Not an interesting top 5 either, if I'm looking at this correct.
No, it's a boring ass weekend because it was a big dump weekend, as it always is every year. Labor Day weekend is not where they drop their high end films. And as a result, it's a lot like the recent top 5s. It's just kind of there.
All right.
But
Well, let's see
let's
what
go
we
into
got.
number 5.
All right. Number 5 is District 9, which at this point, District 9 has broken $100 million, man.
It sure did. It
101.
Yep.
And it brought in $7 million this weekend. So that movie is a bona fide success, inarguably.
It is a moneymaker.
Yes, it is. That's straight profit this movie is. And happy to see that because I think you and I agree both that this is probably one of our top favorite movies this summer.
Absolutely. In fact, the thing that I think that needs to be stressed about this is this proves that if you take geniuses and give them a nice mid-range budget and force them to prove themselves, you end up with a real solid moneymaker that you could still also make a smart film. This is one of the best films of the year. It's definitely one of the best films of the summer, and it's made its money, but it's still just 4 weeks later, it finally crossed $100 million.
Yeah. 4 weeks later, it's $101.4 million, man. So, and
had this cost $150 million, people would have been going off about how it's not a success, how it's a failure, what happened. But because it was so cheap and they made it so well, now we have a real hit. This is what I want to see more of.
And those geniuses that you were talking about are Peter Jackson and Neil, Blomkamp? Is that his name? Yeah. So what you're saying is the next movie is going to suck because they're going to get $100 million thrown at them, and they're just going to waste it all on big special effects and a bullshit story.
Not necessarily. If they're smart, they'll look at it and go, hey, we did it like this. Let's do it like this again. And what Peter Jackson and Neil Blomkamp should do is say, look, give us that amount of money again. Don't mess with us like you did on the last one. Just let us do our thing, and we will turn in another hit for you.
All right. Well, I hope that's true, man. I hope they just don't go out and try to make, a 3-hour, $500 million epic because they got all this power to do what they want to do next. But let's go into number 4.
The number 4 movie of the week.
Gamer.
Wow, it cracked into the top 5.
It actually is number 4, man. And I don't know how much that movie cost, but it brought in $9 million. It's not. Yeah. It's considered to be kind of a weak opening for this movie.
Well, and everyone I talked to hated it.
See, I liked it, man, but I didn't even go in.
Did?
I did. But see, I
You're
went in.
the first person I've heard that actually liked it. Everybody else just came out laughing and shaking their head.
And again, it's one of those movies where I went in and I said, you know what, this is dumb. I knew who the movie was from. It was from those guys who did Crank. I went in saying this is not going to be as good as Crank, but if it's crazy, if it's just crazy, I'll be all right. And the movie never bored me. But I don't blame people for coming out and saying the movie's bad because the movie is bad. I mean, it's not a great movie at all. So. It is done by the people who did Crank and Crank 2. And everybody was talking about, well, what are these guys going to do next? And these guys have such a gonzo way of making movies that if they aren't making something that is just crazy throughout the whole film, it does fall short because they try to actually put in a little bit of drama in this. Gerard Butler plays a guy who is trying to get back with his wife and his daughter. And it's like those parts in the middle of all that craziness, it means nothing.
Does he get a moment where he's like, "This is Gamer"?
No. That's actually something that would have helped this movie. But the movie's like, these guys either going to have to show some restraint, or they're just going to have to go like just insane on the next film. So, hello.
Well, all right, that brings us to number 3.
All right, number 3 is. Okay, now where the fuck did this movie come from? All About Steve.
Where did it come from? Well, they didn't bother to show it to us, but it came from the magical place where they still make Sandra Bullock movies, and Sandra Bullock movies still make money.
Even though they said that this was a disappointment too, the movie opened up at $11.2 million, and they said not a bad opening, but they would have expected this, being a premiere film, a Sandra Bullock movie, they would have expected this movie to open up 1 or 2, but instead it got 3rd place. So even though, all right, money, it's still considered somewhat a weak opening for it. And I guess this is a Fox movie too, and we're not getting screenings for Fox movies anymore here in Austin right now. And they've also switched the media company are the promotion company that handles Fox movies, so we don't even get notices about anything from Fox. So this movie just came out of left field for us.
Yep, it snuck up on us like a ninja.
Now, who is it? Sandra Bullock and Bradley Cooper.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Fuck this movie. I don't want to see this anyway. All right.
Well, now the thing about this movie is going to come back and haunt us for the next 3 or 4 weeks because it's a Sandra Bullock movie. The thing about Sandra Bullock right now is that her movies are being marketed to the 35 up women, and nobody is marketing movies to them. It happens every summer. This is the thing that happened with The Proposal. It happens almost every year. Nobody makes a movie for women who are 35 and up, and then the minute somebody makes one that the women like, that's good or solid, they go and see it over and over again because it's the only thing out there for them. So it's like, oh, hey, I'm going to take my friends to see this. Oh, you haven't seen that? Let's go see it. And so that's probably going to happen here if it connects. It didn't do well this weekend, but this is never a good weekend for movies to begin with.
So you think it's going to be sticking around then, huh?
It's probably going to be in the top 5 for the next few weeks unless something manages to capture the attention of women, which I haven't seen in the lineup, but I may have missed it.
So you just say Sandra Bullock, wherever she goes, you just put down that anchor, and you're going to have to haul her ass off if she's in the top 5. So she's going to be around for a little while.
She's going to be around for a little while.
All right. We'll see about that.
But let's see what kicked Sandra Bullock's ass with number 2.
Now, this is why Sandra Bullock, her movie seemed to have a weak opening, because we've had 2 movies which have been out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and they still remain at the top 2. We have at number 2, Inglourious Basterds.
God bless Quentin Tarantino.
Yes, the movie has actually gone on to make $20 million more than its budget. The movie cost $70 million to make. That's at least what's been reported. And the movie has gone on to make $92 million, man. So, yeah, doing pretty well, man. Everybody's loving the return of Quentin.
That's right.
That motherfucker walks in a room and just says, hey, I'm here, and everybody loves that motherfucker.
Yep. And let's see if this can keep going. I want to see this in the top 5 for a little longer. I want Quentin to get his seat back at the table.
Well, I don't ever think it's left. I mean, Quentin Tarantino, at this point, he is a legend. I mean, the motherfucker has his own wax dummy now at a museum somewhere. So I'm like, shit, the moment you get your own wax figure, you made it, man.
When you say museum, do you mean my bedroom? Because that's where the wax figure is.
The fuck? When did you turn to Beavis and Butthead all of a sudden? You know what? I would rather have you here doing that in front of me, making that noise, because at least I can see what you're doing. When you do that and I can't see you, I don't know what the fuck is going on, man. You make me nervous when you do that.
You know what it is? I gotta admit, it's that extract thing they did this week. Did you see that?
What Beavis did, or his take on Extract or something like that?
Beavis and Butthead were talking about Extract and were selling it, and as part of a trailer thing that you could watch online.
Oh, is that what was going around? Because some people put that on my page, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Beavis and Butthead. Yeah. I haven't watched them in years. So, okay, so I guess it was relevant.
Yeah, it was the first new Beavis and Butthead that we've had in years, and it was like it was so weird to see that. Because it's all been reruns for ages, and all of a sudden Mike Judge went and did a short Beavis and Butthead thing, and it was like being 17 again.
And okay, I don't know if Beavis and Butthead could have helped Extract or if they hurt that shit, because that didn't have such a good opening. But we'll talk about that after we talk about number 1.
The number 1 movie of the week.
Final Destination. The movie your favorite movie this year.
Fuck that movie, man.
The one that you I know District 9 is like one of your favorite movies this year, but the Final Destination is the final movie for you this summer. You love it.
I fucking hate that movie.
Well,
I hate that it's number 1. I hate that people have gone back to see it. I hate that people have lost their money to it. And I hate the few guys I know that have come back going, shut up, dude, it was fun.
I was about to say, well, brother, somebody's loving this movie, because this movie has gone on to make $7 million more than its original budget. The movie cost $40 million. It has amassed $47.4 million, brought in $12.3 this weekend. So
you know what
somebody's going to see that shit. What does that mean?
It means we're going to see another fucking Final Destination movie.
You know what? I haven't seen any Final Destination movie at all, so I'm okay with that. Give me more choice with these, because I'll catch one of them eventually. You know?
If you catch one of them, watch the second one. And if you watch the second one, just watch the first one, then the second one, and then you're done. And those are good. The first one is entertaining. The second one is really fucking good.
That's what I keep hearing. Cyrus told me that. He said, if you watch any of those, watch number 2.
Yeah, because the thing is, you have to see number 1 to understand number 2, because number 2 is a direct sequel. But number 3 and 4, they're both entirely self-contained, and they're the same fucking movie, and that's what pisses me off. Right down to the dialogue. There's a whole sequence where in both movies, all somebody has to do to explain that they understand what's going on is, I Googled it off the internet. And they wave around a piece of paper that says, Flight 180 on it, which was the flight from the first movie. And then you're like, oh, okay, all that information's out there from the first 2 movies. And it's like, fuck you for not actually giving me a story of this movie and relying on a cheap gag.
Well, you better get used to it, because there is going to be another one. This movie, or this series of films, in the Saw films, they said that they are essentially the same movies over and over again. What's getting people back in there? Because people always want to see the inventive ways that they kill people in those movies. And that's the only thing that's getting people back in. Can you imagine being
that's what pisses me off about this film. There are no good deaths in this film. Not one. They're so not memorable. They're so cheesy. The CG in them is so bad, and the 3D is the worst. They charge you an extra $4 for shitty 3D. It made me angry.
Yeah, see, that's what I want to see, man. I want to see like another film where they just run out of shit to do, and they say, "Well, it's ridiculous now. What can we do to kill people?" People start dying by ways that you can't believe how they die. One person dies by cotton balls. You know what I mean? Like, how can you kill yourself with cotton balls? Another guy.
You fucking joke, but this movie is that movie. I mean, there's somebody who ends up getting killed because a small stone gets hit by a lawnmower and flies across the street and just shoots into their eye.
That's kind of funny to me, man.
It's like, really? That's all you got left? Oh, hey, look, a car exploded and a tire came and knocked his head off. Whoa. And it's like, really? Fucking really? That's what we've got? These are the deaths? They're really fucking terrible. I mean, they made the part 3 look inventive, and I hated fucking part 3. Part 3 made me angry. These are just they've become really bad movies, and I just hate the shit out of it.
I'm just amazed that I've managed to miss all of these movies. Hey, you know what? Maybe when I see one, they'll start making it. Maybe that's what they're waiting on. Maybe they're saying, well, shit, Corey hasn't seen one of these movies yet. We're going to keep making them until we get his ass in there. So I'll be around for the 5th one. How about that? I'm not going to go to this because I want there to be one.
No, you
more.
won't, because what you'll do is you'll pull that shit where it's like, hey, Carlisle, Cyrus, I remember you guys have seen these movies, right? Why don't you go see it? Because I haven't even seen the first 4. Instead, I'll go see this super awesome movie with topless girls. So you guys go see that, and I'll go see the topless girl movie.
And what movie was that I saw the night that this was showing?
Halloween.
Please, man. Another ridiculous fucking horror movie, man. Come on.
I was talking about a year from now, not what you said.
Oh, yeah, a year from now I will. I'm already planning it out right now. I'm already telling you, hey, I'm not going to be there, man. I got to go to this other movie with this topless chick, whatever that'll be at the time.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I'm checking my schedule now.
Booty twabs.
Oh, look at this. I have marked down next September, Topless Girl, the movie. I got to go see that. I'm sorry. But you guys go see this. You're familiar with that, with the history of that film. Now, a movie that opened up this weekend that did not do well at all is Extract. This movie brought in $4 million. Now, I don't know how much this movie cost to make, because the movie is not expensive. I mean, if you look at it, it's nothing expensive about that movie at all. So maybe the movie cost, well, no, I doubt it. That movie did not cost $4 million to make because they had actors to pay. But it's, I don't know what it was about this movie, man. There was a time when Mike Judge was a name that would get people into the theater because, hey, he had Beavis and Butthead. Everyone, I guess, what was up? What's that?
There's never been a time when Mike Judge has been able to get people into theaters.
That's what I was about to ask you, because what you call it, Office Space is considered a cult movie now.
it's considered a cult classic,
Yeah.
and it's not even really considered a cult classic. It's considered a sleeper classic. It's a classic that nobody saw it in the theater. It bombed. They thought Mike Judge's career was over, but it's one of the top selling DVDs of all time. It's something that people have bought and discovered and gone, oh my God, how have I never seen this movie? This movie's so great. And then, of course, Idiocracy got Fox didn't understand it. They dumped it in only a handful of theaters. We were lucky that we had a draft house that got it here.
Yeah.
And then people discovered that on DVD as well. He's never had a theatrical hit, and he's never been able to get people into theaters.
No, you were right about that. You were right. I mean, he's had some bad luck with the theaters. I mean, the one movie I thought was actually great, which I don't think would have done that bad, was Idiocracy. I like that better than Office Space myself, actually, because I thought it was pretty smart. I don't know, man. Maybe Fox thought dumb people would see it and see too much of themselves in it and say, "Fuck this." Is he laughing at me?
Yeah, I don't know. I watched it. I understood why Fox dumped it, though. It's a very cult feeling movie. The type of comedy. It's not the type of comedy that plays to large audiences, and it hasn't been on DVD. It's gotten a mixed reception because some people just don't get it. But it is what it is.
Let me ask you something about Idiocracy. Now, you've seen it, and I've seen it. So, there's a midway through the film, everything. Let me give a little background about the movie, for those who haven't seen it. The movie
Which is pretty much everybody.
Yeah, it's pretty much everyone. So why not? So this movie takes place in a future where people have become so dumb that all they do is sit around, masturbate, and watch TV. And meanwhile, the corporations have taken over. So everything is sponsored. I mean, the town that they live in is what, Costco? Costco is a city at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Costco's name is all over this film and a bunch of other brands. Now you have a movie where you have a corporation that has its name all over this film, but it's a film that could be seen by some people who put money into it as insulting their audience. Do you think that had anything at all to do with maybe this movie not getting a big push too?
No, because Costco isn't Walmart. Costco doesn't gear towards a really unintelligent audience. It's not about the mass consumer. Costco is more about bargain hunters. So I wouldn't say that it's really geared that way. And that was, or I wouldn't say that was the problem at all.
Okay, because I was always curious about that. I didn't know if that was the case or not. Because I remember talking to some people about that, and they're like, that's a good question. We don't know though. So, well, I really hate that about Mike Judge, man, because the guy is very talented. But I have to admit, if you heard our review, this movie wasn't all that good. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah, we all gave it a rental, and really that's where people are going to discover it again. And some people will really like it. Some people will really be like us and be meh. But yeah, it's definitely a rental. And
the movie might actually be better on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever you're watching it on right now. It might be one of those films where you're sitting at home and you watch it in parts and you're like, say, wow, you know what? That wasn't as bad as I thought it was. So who knows, man? Anyway, do you have anything going on this week that you'd like to talk about?
Going on this week?
Yeah, it's a slow week, man.
Not really. I mean, the only thing right now is I'm actually I'm looking at finally. I'm finally relenting and I'm buying a Wii.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Why did I wait so long, or why am I buying a Wii?
Well, I don't know, man. I maybe I see you grumble about so many things. I thought you'd hated the Wii.
No, I don't have a problem with the Wii. I just haven't had time for video games in the last few years because I've been working so much. But my wife just admitted to me that she's always kind of wanted a Wii, and the only reason she didn't get one was because she didn't want to distract me from work. And I've always kind of wanted a Wii, and so we talked about it. It's like, really? You want to play Wii with me? Yeah, I want to play Wii with you. Well, let's get a Wii. And it was that just sudden discovery that both people wanted a Wii and just never really came out to the other and said it. So
now, when you say you want to play Wii, make sure you put the Wii in there. Do you want to play the Wii with me? Because when you say you want to play
Wii, there's playing Wii and then playing
yeah,
Wii.
It sounds like you're giving each other golden showers and shit when you talk about, do you want to play Wii? As when you mention your wife in the same context as the word Wii, it's some weird images in there. But you want to get a Wii.
Yeah, we want to sit on the couch together and play Wii, and that's kind of fucking cool. So and she's like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Do I want to play video games with my beautiful wife? No, I'd hate that. That's not every man's dream at all. No." So yeah, actually, I might even go out after we're done recording this and buy a Wii.
At 1:00 in the morning, are you jonesing for a Wii that much that you got to go out at 1:00 in the morning and get a Wii?
Well, going out at 1:00 in the morning to do it means I don't have to deal with the daytime Walmart crowds.
Oh, wait, hold on. Well, I guess it depends on which Walmart you go to, because I used to think that way also. And I noticed that late at night, now, maybe it's a part of town, but late at night when you go to certain Walmarts, the freaks come out at night. I mean, you get some just roguish, ghetto-ish, hillbilly-ass, red, white, and blue trash people that just walk all through there.
That is true. There is that. In fact, have you seen the people of Walmart.com? I'm not kidding.
As you can tell from my laughter, no. But
this is an awesome new site that all it is people who take photos of fucked up people they see in Walmart and send them in, and they post them. And it's a lot of fun because there are some jaw-dropping people at the Walmarts of America. And personally, I think there's nothing better than going people watching while buying a Wii.
Hold on. People of Walmart. I'm looking at this shit now, man. I'm about to go on here now. Oh, wait a minute. Why did it take me to Facebook? I went to People of Walmart. Okay, let's see. Peopleofwalmart.com.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
It's taking me everywhere but where
that's
I need
exactly
to fucking
what it's
go.
called. Peopleofwalmart.com.
Wait a minute. That's fucking me walking through there. Hey, wait a minute. No. and the funny thing is, I'm grinning. I'm looking at the camera and smiling. Hey. Now, the first thing that comes up is a woman with a baby in a cart, and this baby's got a fucking plastic bag over her head.
Yeah. And then look at the next one.
What, go fuck yourself?
It's an old woman with a go fuck yourself hat. And it gets really bad. I mean, there's some incredibly fucked up things at this. Me and my wife have been laughing at this site for days. It's literally our new schadenfreude internet adventure. It's just the people are so incredible, and oh wow, there's some I have not seen.
God damn, there's a guy right here wearing tight ass shorts, and they're so tight. These shorts are so tight that you can see his underwear, and his underwear is almost like a thong is crawling up his ass so much, and his underwear is printed with like a soccer ball pattern, and this is like some 50-year-old man too. God damn,
dude, wait till you get to the top of page 3.
There's a big ass woman talking about. I like it from. Oh my god, I like it from behind. There's a fat ass woman walking through here with a skirt riding up. You said the top of page 3 though.
Yeah, the top of page 3. Told you.
Hey, y'all, there's a girl, and the girl is kind of cute, too. And she looked like she's wearing
that's the kicker.
Look like she's wearing the colors.
She's not bad looking.
No, she's not bad looking at all. She look like she's wearing. Look like she's a soccer fan. She's wearing the colors of. It looks like Italy, and printed in her crotch. And this is a fine looking girl too. Printed in her crotch area are dick and some balls. This is it's printed on the cloth.
That image will haunt you tonight, Corey. That image is going to come back in your dreams.
No,
that woman is going to crawl on top of you, and you're going to feel the soft, gentle tickle of shaft and balls dragging up your leg.
Well, no, it's a print, man. I'm going to take this picture. I'm going to Photoshop that out. And you know what? I still take this girl. Sadly, this is the least shocking thing on here. This is kind of normal because it looks like she's in on the joke. Looks like, hey.
Yeah, well, she's got the thumbs up and she's like fucking awesome. But
yeah, she's like, hey.
Then you move down to the one below and it's like, oh my God.
There's a. I'm sorry, people.
I told you you'd love this site, dude. And this we've actually devolved. We've gotten to the point to where we're talking about we're on the internet talking about the internet. While everybody else is looking on, like, what the fuck you guys talking about?
Well, people will go and they'll look at this with us. People go look at this with us, enjoy this with us. In the middle of page 3 here, okay, I've heard of these guys with these sagging pants. I mean, I probably used to do that myself when I was a teenager, but fuck, man, there's a dude whose pants are sagging, like you see kids do these days, but the elastic around his waistline on the pants are so tight that when they hang around his legs, like they go past his ass. So they are squeezing so tight on his legs that his ass is sticking all the way out. And I'm
There's
just
this site has a number of people with baggy pants, like down around their ankles and such. There are some ridiculous things and then some crazy fucked up things. I've fallen in love with this site, and so I was like, you know what? This gives me an excuse to go to Walmart and buy a Wii at the same time. It's kind of fucking awesome.
Hey, looking at this kind of makes me want to go to Walmart at night and just hang out. That means this is where the meth addicts go. Now I see what happens.
You want to help me buy a Wii?
No, okay, I don't want to go that far. Now, that sentence, I'll help you buy a Wii in the middle of Walmart at 1 o'clock in the morning with meth addicts walking around. It might,
you know what? That's exactly why I want to have a big black guy with me.
It might, and you know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? It's going to be you and me on there next, holding a Wii box together, smiling and shit, and be like, how the fuck did we end up on here? Oh my God, people, I'm going to leave this alone, but you got to go to the bottom of page 4. On the bottom of page 4, there's a man who looks like his mullet and afro is so big that it looks like a fucking poodle fell asleep on his head, and he's sporting this shit with pride. I mean,
he's rocking it.
He is. He's looking off in the distance like, yeah, the '80s, man, ain't never going anywhere.
Yeah, see, you're gonna get addicted to this site, man. I can tell you're gonna be checking this site every goddamn day now.
I already am addicted to this site. I wonder why these people don't have fucking lawsuits in them. I guess meth addicts can't afford lawyers, but
you can't sue somebody for taking your photo and putting it up. What you can do is demand that they take it down. And I guess, these people haven't seen themselves. I mean, come on, look at some of these people. Do they look like they own computers or know how to operate one?
Oh, fuck, man. Hold on. I'm at the top of page 7. Tony the Tiger shops at Walmart, man. I knew it. And that fool is just strolling through, man. He's just chilling at Walmart late at night, just shopping, man. Seriously, people, there's a guy in a Tony the Tiger outfit just shopping like he's normal. Like everybody does this kind of shit. This is fucking awesome, man.
Yeah. So
right,
getting away from people in Walmart. That's my big thing this week. Is I've decided I'm finally going to get myself a Wii.
Oh man, maybe I do want to go to Walmart with you tonight. It's put me in the mood.
Yeah, because you're like, man, meth addicts and crazies and freaks come out, and you're like, man, I kind of want to go see some freaks now.
Yeah. Because some of this stuff is just kind of endearing, man. I mean, really, you expect to see like the meth addicts and the women who try to dress sexy end up just looking horribly sluttish. I mean, not even sluttish in a good way, but like cellulite sticking out of like a thong.
Disturbingly sluttish.
Sluttish, yes. But I see some things on here that are kind of cute, man. It's kind of funny. Like Tony the Tiger. There's got a Tony the Tiger outfit, and right below that, there's a guy with all these balloons and Christmas balls attached to him. Now, the only disturbing thing is that there's a little boy right next to him, and that's kind of makes me nervous. But it's not all bad. Some of it's actually good. Oh, somebody drove the Batmobile up here. Oh,
well, it's not so much the Batmobile as it's a Spill Members version of the Batmobile.
Oh, wow, man. Now, this is priceless right here. And I'll leave it alone after this. They got a woman, and I hope this isn't photoshopped. I hope this is real. They got a woman in a red hoodie with a big-ass swastika on the front.
It's not just a woman. It's a Sarah Palin lookalike.
Yes. And there are 2 black guys walking right past her. Now, I don't even think they know what she has on. And she's just looking at them like, why are these fucking niggers in my Walmart? It's like she has a look. Like she's like this should be an all white Walmart.
I actually get the impression that look is like, oh, hell no, you're not taking my photo.
Oh, fuck, I've been busted. Or maybe she's saying, hey, Heil Hitler. I don't know. But wow, man. Wow. That's all I can say. Wow. This is amazing. Walmart becomes a whole new magical, disturbing, evil, wonderful land in the middle of the night.
Oh, yeah, baby.
All wrapped up in one. Oh, thank you, man. That's my birthday gift right there.
Yeah, I told you dig that thing. I was like, how have you not seen this yet? This is my favorite new site. This site is just frightening.
People... I'm going back to some of the ones. I cannot get away from the man with that mullet. I can't stop looking at that. I can't stop.
Wait till that guy shows up to next year's spill party.
I think he did already. His name is Renegade. But
oh, no, because Renegade is a special, different kind of guy. Rocking the gold chains and the suit.
I know. He knows I'm messing with him. Yeah, no.
He knows we love him.
He does. You know, I'm gonna give you a hard time, man. As much shit as he gave me, you know, I gotta fuck with him a little bit. But yeah, man, this is funny as hell. Wow. I actually have a little bit of a stomach ache there from laughing so hard at some of that shit. I love that kind of thing. You know, I hate laughing at people because I don't want to feel like I'm better than people. But god damn, I mean,
there's a certain level that once you cross it, that kind of Schadenfreude becomes publicly acceptable. It's, you know, when you let your pants fall down around your ankles, or you grow a power mullet of some sort. You know, when it's so openly mocked and you rock it because you think it's cool anyway, you enjoy it. Get down. But some of these things, I love this little baby girl with the bag over her head. That's just, it's Darwinism in action. I mean, that's just, you know, that's evolution asserting itself.
All in the one big cesspool called Walmart.
Amen, brother. Oh,
instead of this quagmire where life was crawling out of it at one time, this is like sucking life back into it and not letting it go. If you at police, you know, hey, look, DEA agents or whatever, if you ever want to catch meth addicts, here's the place right here. Just hang out at Walmart. Don't go anywhere. Apparently, it's like a roach motel for meth addicts. Wow, man, this is amazing. Oh, well, brother, what else you got, man?
Nothing.
Well, I wish I had. Wish I had more. What's that?
It's one of those weeks, man. Nothing's happening.
Nah, it really is slow, man. I mean, we're in that time of the year where they just either dumping things or the news is slow. There's nothing going on.
Well, and the news that's happened has been like really overcovered. I mean, I guess you and I could talk about the Disney Marvel thing, but who hasn't talked about that
man,
yet?
We've talked that to death. I mean, that's a week old. We talked about it last week, and honestly, I never saw it as that big of a deal. It was fun to talk about it the week it came out, but goddamn, all these people going crazy over Disney buying Marvel. You don't even know what they're going to do yet.
Yeah,
this might be a great thing.
Have you seen the Rambo news?
Oh, I read something a while back that they're like trying to make Rambo like some science fiction film now or something.
Rambo 5 is going to be Rambo fighting some kind of science fiction beast.
See, man, why? Now, see, this is why I told everybody, like, that last Rambo is successful, and what happens when Rambo gets successful, or Stallone gets successful with anything, he starts going fucking nuts, man. He was doing that with the Rocky movies when he started finally fighting that Russian, and now with this movie, this is insane. I mean, okay, you might have read about, I don't know anything about this. I read a headline somewhere a while back, but is this a good thing or a bad thing?
I have no idea. This is literally everyone I'm talking to has the same wide-eyed kind of giggly response. Like, dude, I don't even know what to make of this. There's a great thing that Harry Knowles has over on Ain't It Cool News in which he posted the news and the talkbackers went nuts about it. And Sly reads talkback. He loves Ain't It Cool. He loves reading the responses to all of his stuff. He's done a number of 20 questions articles with Harry on the site. So he read the news, he read the talkbacks, and instantly calls Harry and leaves him a voicemail message overnight. And gave Harry permission to post it on the site. So you can listen to Sly Stallone talk about Rambo 5. And it's one of those things where when you hear his excitement and what he's talking about, you kind of want to see it, even if it's a train wreck. Like, you want it to work so bad. Because, you know, what haven't we? We have not seen Rambo fucking fighting a government-created genetic creature. I've never seen that. Would it be cool or would it not be cool?
That last Rambo should have been, hey, this is my dignity. This is my farewell to all you Rambo fans.
Well, I agree, and that's what I said when that movie came out. Look, they started talking about a fifth one. Do you want to see it? Not really. I like this, but now that I know they're working on it and that where they're going with it is just kind of so crazy, it could work.
It could, but come on, man. Seriously.
No, I'm right there with you.
People were rolling their eyes when they heard that he wanted to do another movie. except the movie was kind of grounded. It was something that he wanted to go after somebody that had his son or daughter or something like that, or came after his family. He was in the States now, and he was doing his vigilante thing again. But God damn, man! At this point, you were fighting a science fiction creature. Just make Alien versus Predator versus Rambo next. I mean, what sense does this make? This is fucking nuts.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
I would argue. Look, I've been behind Stallone with a lot of things. Rocky Balboa, I liked. Rambo was surprisingly good, but this is getting fucking nuts now. Is this man on steroids and it's finally going to his head? I mean, this is insane. And he talked to Harry and said, like, "Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, that's true."
Yeah, well, he said that people didn't quite understand what they were going for with this. And, that talkbackers kind of got it wrong. And he goes on to explain. I mean, it's really something you have to hear from his own lips yourself, because it just doesn't seem to make any sense any other way.
I'll tell you what, man. I want to think this. Now, this is me creating my own scenario in my head, but I would like to think that Sylvester Stallone is very marketing savvy, and maybe he came up with this whole ridiculous premise to just build up hype about another Rambo film that will not be this at all. That actually might be pretty good. It might be pretty sane. Hello?
I'm here. I'm listening.
No, that's it. That's all I'm saying. I'm just thinking that maybe this is all just a marketing thing.
I don't know. I honestly, I don't know what to make of it. It sounds like they're seriously going to make it. That it's not just a hype thing. That they're actually going to do this.
It will be for me. It'll be a sense of, are you at your fucking mind, and almost a sense of admiration that if he has the balls to do something like this, it can actually get away with it. The man's a genius.
Well, the thing is, if they make it for cheap enough, it's gonna make its money. You put a movie in theaters, Rambo versus the giant fucking monster of doom. You think every redneck in this country isn't going to line up for a week to fucking see it? They're going to have tailgating parties to watch this fucking movie.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, you know what? That might be the coolest thing in the world. I don't know. I might see this.
What's the biggest fucking movie of the year this year?
What is the biggest movie of the year this year?
Yeah.
Transformers, man.
Yeah, Transformers 2. Dumbest fucking movie of the year. Made $400 million domestically. I think Rambo versus the Space Monster has money in it.
Okay, you know the difference between that, though, right? Transformers started out with giant fucking robots doing ridiculous shit. Rambo is a guy that does ridiculous shit, but he's always done it in the realm of somewhat of a military environment that we can at least say, like, okay, no guy could do this in the real world. But in this world, it's still somewhat grounded on Earth. It's still somewhat not. It's just a military story, not a science fiction movie. And this right here, this is just taking a whole fucking turn. I'm confused, man. Help me. I don't know what to think.
That's why I brought it up. It's literally one of those head scratchers. It could be one of those things that's so radical that we had no idea it's exactly what we wanted. And we see it and it's like, holy shit, that was fucking awesome. Or it could be one of the biggest, most unbelievable clusterfucks since Breaking 2 Electric.
Either way, hey, look, either way it goes, people will see this, because people will see this just out of sheer curiosity, man. I mean, you got the rednecks who will see this no matter what. And you got people like me who will say, okay, I know better than this, but I gotta see this to believe it
anyway.
Yeah, so I gotta see this to believe it.
It's like that email link that your buddy sends you that says, dude, this shit's really fucked up. And you know you shouldn't click it, but you do.
Hey, man, I got this click I want to send you. 2 girls, 1 cup, and 1 Rambo giant, and 1 John fighting 1 John monster. It's like, okay, sure. That's a little much, but sure, why not? I can't turn away.
2 Rambos, 1 cup.
and 1 giant fucking monster. Wow, man, that. See, when they said science fiction or something like that, I didn't know it was a fucking giant creature. I thought they meant like.
Well, I don't think it's actually giant. I mean, that's the thing. Is it's supposed to be? It's a genetic creation to make some kind of super soldier, and it's a small, man-sized, really crafty, really fast, fucking alien-like monster. But it's created apparently by the government. and at a facility, and it gets loose, and so the government calls in the one guy they know is crazy fucking enough to go in and can kill the shit out of things, and that's Rambo.
Yeah, I like to talk to him. I like to see what's next for Sylvester Stallone. What you got going next? Well, we're doing Rocky again. Wait, you gonna Rocky? I thought Rocky was done. Well, Rocky's gonna be fighting Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. And then you're going to fight Freddy Krueger. I was like, fuck, man, why not at this point? Yeah,
because at that point, you're like, you know what? I would kind of want to see a boxing match between you. What would happen if Rambo goes out, he's tired, he's alone, or Rocky's tired, he's alone, he goes out to camp for the weekend, and it just so happens that Jason shows up and starts killing you. How would Rocky deal with that?
You know what happened?
There's a fucking movie I want to see.
Everybody would turn into like a Friday the 13th movie where Sylvester Stallone's out there doing his thing, kids will start dying, and Jason comes after him, and next thing you know, it turns into a boxing film. Everybody's coming to Crystal Lake to see the biggest boxing match of the year. And I tell
what? I don't want to see that movie. I want to see Rambo fight Jason Voorhees.
Well, either way it goes, I'd like to see it because I believe at the end of the of Rocky versus Jason, I believe Rocky would knock Jason the fuck out. If anybody's gonna do it, it's gonna be Rocky Balboa. Wow. I hope Sylvester Stallone is listening to this because at this moment, I think he'd be open to anything. Like if we gave him that pitch right now, hey, Sylvester Stallone, why not Rocky fight Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger? Yeah, that sounds good. Well, I was kidding, man. No, I won't write this down. Oh,
no, fuck. Let me call Harry Knowles and leave him a voicemail message.
I'm gonna tell everybody. Yeah, no, Jesus Christ. I'll give up, man. Go ahead, do what you want to.
It's insanity, but it's delicious insanity. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it now.
I got the sequel planned out. We bring Godzilla in. We can do this.
These are the worst Stallone impressions.
I know. That's what we do, man. We do terrible impressions. Impressions.
We're like doing Frank Stallone at this point.
Actually, we're just doing some guy whose lips just fell asleep. We're doing Mushmouth from goddamn Fat Albert. So, well, man, okay, I'm in. All right, I'm officially in. Reluctantly, I'm in, but I'm in because I want to see where this shit goes. It's one of those things where I got to see where this is going, man. So you can know, and even if I was in a room with Sylvester Stallone's managers, they'd be like, "Stallone, you can't do that. No, let him. Let's see where this goes. Let him do it." So, fuck, wow, that is the weirdest news I've heard all year.
Yeah, it's pretty much up there in the what the fuck category.
It is. Next thing you know, we're going to see pictures of Stallone shopping in Walmart at 1 a.m. So.
Okay, see, that would be kind of awesome. It's there's a woman with a bag over her kid's head and somebody walking around in a thong and a t-shirt, and then Sylvester Stallone mumbling about fighting aliens.
And it would fit right in. Yeah, we made about 6 Rocky movies right now and 7 Rambo movies, and I believe he would buy all of that. But oh well, man, whatever. So I'll tell you what, we have about 10 minutes left in an hour if we choose. Yep. If we so choose to go for an hour. And I was thinking it'd be nice if we got to some email.
Well, I happen to have some tweeted questions if you'd like some.
Nah, I'll always welcome that. Please go ahead.
All right. Well, let's see. I went ahead and, as usual, put the call out on Twitter, and let's go with one of my favorite folks, Metal Virgin. Metal Virgin.
What the fuck does she want?
She wants to know, with all these CGI crazy movies that came out this summer, how do you feel about so much digital effects being used in movies?
I think that's one of those kind of generic ass questions, but.
That actually kind of is. But how do we feel? We like them as long as the movie doesn't rely on them.
Yeah, that's all I can say, too. I mean, I will say this. I don't mind CG effects, but there are certain times when you can tell the budget is being just spent way too much on effects just because they can do it. And even then, I'll let it slide. The place I do not like a whole lot of CG used is in horror films because they start to show you too much because they're so proud of their CG. And then next thing you know, you're not scared of anything because you see it all right there. I don't know. You tell me what you think. I remember there was a time when you hardly saw the creature. Sometimes you didn't see the whole creature for the whole movie. And that kind of made your imagination kind of fill in the blank. And now they show you everything.
Well, that's one of the classic lessons that was learned. I mean, Val Lewton learned that back in the day. Val Lewton was a producer back in the 30s and 40s, made a lot of horror suspense films. And one of the films he made was called Cat People. And
yeah, I remember Cat People.
he commissioned these guys to make the costume for Cat People, and the costume was terrible. It was awful. It was just ridiculous. It was laughable. It wasn't going to work. So what Val Lewton decided to do is he said, fuck it. We're going to light them from behind and just show their shadow throughout the whole film. You're never going to see the Cat People. And as a result, he scared the crap out of audiences. They were like, oh my God, because people would see the shadows and they would imagine these terrible cat creatures coming and murdering people. And it taught people that, you know what, you don't have to actually show the monster. You can let people imagine it. And this, of course, was learned, this was shown to people again as, you know, we made a lot of mistakes in the 60s by Steven Spielberg, who made Jaws, and he had problems with the shark and decided, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to hide the shark, and we're not going to show the shark until later in the movie. And that was one of the big things he wanted to do anyhow. So when you watch the movie, you don't see the shark until later when you finally see it, and it's really fucking scary. So yeah, no, one of in fact, the film I like to use as a prime example of a film that makes that mistake is the first Jeepers Creepers. Because for the first half an hour, that movie's fucking scary.
It is. It kind of freaked me out.
Yeah, you're just horrified. You're like, what the fuck is this thing? This thing's fucking with me. And the minute we see the monster stand up in the headlights and it shows itself, and you're like, oh, that's a fucking Buffy villain. That's not a monster. That's when the movie goes to shit and it's not scary anymore. Yeah,
it's the old rule of the monkey's paw, you know? Yeah, if anybody is familiar with that story, it's very horrifying because this woman makes a wish for her dead, mutilated son to come back, and the son actually gets to the door, and the husband finally grabs the claw and says, I wish it would go away, and you open the door, the thing is just, a shadow is seen going, shambling down the street, and you're just thinking, wow, what did that look like? And of course, your mind starts filling in all those blanks, and you start kind of scaring yourself. So yeah, no, that's a good answer, man, right there. So... you have another one? You want me to pick one? Or?
Yeah, I got one. High Five DJ asks a really interesting one. What actor or actress will you watch in any movie regardless of its quality?
Oh, I can't really make that blanket statement because if the movie's bad, I can't hang with a good performance through the whole thing. If the movie's that bad.
You know what? There are a couple people that I will watch. There's you know what? No, that's wrong. You're lying, Corey. I could tell you who you would.
Who?
If I pulled out a movie right now and said, dude, this is one of the shittiest movies ever made, but it stars Rudy Ray Moore.
Oh, well, man, that guy's known for making shitty movies, of course. I mean,
you would sit down and watch it anyway, wouldn't you? You've already seen all of his movies.
But see, Rudy Ray Moore in his own context, Dolomite, The Human Tornado, Avenging Disco Godfather, in his element, those movies are good. Now, if they tried to cast Rudy Ray Moore in an ensemble piece with like Meryl Streep and George Clooney, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on here?
But that wasn't the question. The question is, what actor or actress would you watch in a movie regardless of quality? And that's what we're talking about, the Rudy Ray Moore.
Okay, then that's my answer. Then you got me. Yeah, that's it.
You know what? I would watch Keira Knightley in anything right now. Seriously, if Keira Knightley's in it, I'll fucking watch it. Hey, you know that's really bad? Yeah, but it's got Keira Knightley, and you know I really do kind of need to watch it. Lee Marvin is somebody that I will watch any of his movies, even the bad ones, because he's fucking Lee Marvin, and there's still a few floating around out there that I haven't seen, and I love me some Lee Marvin.
Okay, if we're talking about people who aren't alive right now, Rudy Ray Moore is one of them. There was a time I could watch Cary Grant in anything. North by Northwest used to be one of my favorite movies because I wanted to be Cary Grant in that movie, man, because he was just so badass in that film, because he was so cool. And he was a guy who was being chased down because of mistaken identity, and he was thrown into this extraordinary situation and a dangerous situation, and the guy remained the Mac through the whole thing. And I was like, wow. And Cary Grant just had that image of he was George Clooney for his time, man.
Yeah, there was a period of time. It's not like that anymore because he's really kind of lost his magic. But throughout the 80s and 90s, I would watch anything with Tim Curry in it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. No, Tim Curry made a lot of crappers, but he always made really great crappers. In fact, he used to apparently go around to conventions and stuff wearing a little button that said "Great for Turkeys." and he knew he was making bad movies, but he would chew up the scenery like nobody's business. And I do love me some Tim Curry, but after a while, it just got to the point where it's like, you know what? I really only want to see Tim Curry in good movies now.
Okay, I can see that. And I like Tim Curry too, man. I can't watch him in just anything, but there was a time when, Tim Curry was somebody who was like, okay, that says Tim Curry says quality.
So
right.
Why don't you go ahead and pull up one from your email?
I guess I should. Okay, I guess I should, because people are gonna be saying you're not reading my questions. All right, let me see. I don't even have the page up. Hold on.
That was high. In case I didn't say it, that was High Five DJ who sent that in.
Yes, you did.
That's a great question.
All right. Let's see. I'm pulling up a question here from Matthew Hernandez.
Matthew
Hernandez. And he says, love Spill, love the podcast. I have a lot of ideas in my head for a film series. My question for you is, have you ever seen a sequel that isn't necessarily bigger or better than the first one, but manages to be different enough to where it feels reinvented? That's a good question. And yes, there are a lot of sequels that people have reinvented. I mean, of course, the first one that comes to mind is you have Alien, which was directed by Ridley Scott, and then you have the sequel, which was directed by James Cameron, Aliens, and took a totally different approach.
Except that is a bigger and better kind of sequel. It really is bigger. It's I think that's kind of one of them that he kind of ruled out initially. He's talking about something that is that.
Well, see, I don't know if it's better. I think it's just different in tone, because a lot of people
it's an action movie.
Yeah, it's an action movie, and some people say, well, which one do you like? And some people say, well, they really took a departure for the worse with Aliens. I've actually heard people say this, and I said because the scares were so much better. I'm like, well, the scares don't matter, because in Aliens, it was a war film, it was an action film. Wasn't really a horror film and meant to be scary. But yeah, I mean, if you want to name some sequels that are not as good, let's see.
Well, no, not as good. The ones that are just different, that do something else. Like, for example, a good example there would be First Blood and Rambo: First Blood Part 2.
Yeah.
Which are two radically different films. And I'm not convinced that while Rambo First Blood Part 2 is the more awesome of the films, I think First Blood is a far superior film. But they're both very different and very cool in that kind of manner.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of movies like that, and a lot of them it happens, and sometimes it happens within a series of films. Of course, along the line, these movies they start to degrade in quality the further they go along. But the things that come to mind with me in that case are something like Batman. You had like the second Batman was directed by Tim Burton, and you had a sequel to that, which was Batman Forever. It was taken under a new director, and it took on a totally different look. But it was still considered to be in that series. Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2, and 3 all look different because of the directors. You had Martin Brest, who did the first one. You had Tony Scott, who did the second one. And then the third one, I forgot who directed that, but it was a PG-13 film. And so you can't get too much different than that. Godfather 1 and 2 are kind of different. Both are directed by the same director, Francis Ford Coppola. The first one is... I think it takes place in present time for that time, but then you have the second movie, which is somewhat half a period piece, and it kind of and it totally took a different tone. You have some movies which end up being pretty good because they take on a different tone. Of course, we always mention The Devil's Rejects, which is directed by Rob Zombie, but
that's perfect. That is exactly. That is the one where the sequel actually makes the original a better film.
Yeah,
and makes it worthwhile to a number of people.
If you look at let's see what else. The Evil Dead trilogy. They all are different. The first two are pretty much very close to each other. The first one's almost like a remake, but it is a sequel. But the first one was a little more serious. The second one is a comedy. The third one's not even a horror film anymore. It's a medieval crazy ass fantasy almost with a lot of violence in it. And those movies couldn't be more different from each other. Halloween, you had Halloween 1 and 2, which had Michael Myers, but when you get to the third one,
which doesn't count.
Well, the third one is what they said they tried to do with that. What they want to do with that series is try to take it in a direction where these would be sort of anthology stories, horror stories that took place on Halloween. So they wanted to actually make like a series of films that had nothing to do with Michael Myers, but then no one saw the third one. They had to get back Michael Myers to make it successful, and that's what they did. Night of the Living Dead is very different from Dawn of the Dead. We have a movie which is pretty much a haunted house film. Where,
of course, Dawn of the Dead is a bigger, better film than the first one. I mean, the first one's a classic, but the second one was, hey, we have a real budget now.
But with that budget, they were able to make it something different. I mean, look, the first one, it was sort of like people trapped in the woods and things were trying to get in. It's like a spook house movie. The second one is an apocalyptic film. I mean, it's bigger. You're right. It's bigger. And I think it is better. And it's totally a different kind of film. It even seems like it's made by a different director because it's in color and it takes place in a different period. But yeah. And, you know what? I would say this too, about the Europeans and some of the stuff that they make, because I'm thinking of some films now where they do series with, like, they do trilogies with themes, and these movies are they're connected and they're considered to be sort of sequels with each other, but then really not. Like, I'm thinking of the Polish director Kieslowski, the one who did the Red, White, and Blue trilogy.
Right. Like,
all those movies are considered to be one trilogy, but they're very different from each other.
You know what that reminds me of? A great sequel that becomes its own thing is Before Sunset. The sequel to Before Sunrise.
Oh, Before Sunrise. Yeah. And I think
where they get back together 10 years later, and it's all about dealing with the older parts of your life and that occasion that you missed. And it's not a bigger film. It just goes in a different direction, and it revisits these characters and does it in such a beautiful way. I love those films. If you've never seen Before Sunrise and Before Sunset, those are quite possibly it's a matched set masterpiece by Richard Linklater, and it is absolutely required viewing if you're a film lover. Those films are just fantastic.
And while we're talking about foreign films, I think he was kind of influenced by foreign films to make that film.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll name one more before I go out, because I was just talking about this movie last week. I was talking about this film, Umbrellas of Cherbourg, which is also a movie that follows a trilogy that has the same theme. They're romance trilogies. That movie was two movies I haven't seen, but I have in my Netflix queue. This movie it's a romantic tragedy almost, and there's a movie before it called Lola, which I think was made like 5 years before it or something. There's another movie afterwards called The Young Girls of Rochefort or something, and it's and all those movies kind of feature the same characters, kind of feature the same theme of love lost, but they're not really following the same story. So there's a lot of different ways to approach a sequel where it changes tone depending on what director it goes with, or what tone they want to take it, or maybe that one director wants to experiment with another direction. So, what's that? Go ahead.
One that you just brought to mind, a weird, cool, kooky pseudo sequel prequel that was recently done, Sukiyaki Western Django.
Django.
Sukiyaki Western Django. It's the sequel / prequel to Django, and it's so awesomely fucked up. It's delightful. Quentin Tarantino has a role in it. It's shot entirely with an all Japanese cast, but they're speaking phonetic English. So
is that the movie that Quentin Tarantino in, that crazy Western?
Yes.
Okay.
It's insane, but it's I don't want to call it a better film than the original, but it is so, it goes in a very different direction. It's very cool.
Okay, I got you. No, I want to see that movie too, man. I've been hearing that it's pretty cool. Speaking of Westerns then, as far as movies that are series which seem to change tone all the time and maybe reinvent themselves, what do you think about the Man with No Name series?
I absolutely love it. It's a masterpiece. Of course, for those of you that don't know, this is Leone's spaghetti western trilogy of For a Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah.
Some of the best westerns ever made. They're incredible. This is what made Clint Eastwood a household name. If you've only seen The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and you haven't seen Fistful of Dollars or For a Few Dollars More, in fact, out of the whole series, I love For a Few Dollars More. That's my favorite.
I have to go with everybody on the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I've seen them all, but the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, man, I just love that movie. That soundtrack is what it's so iconic, man.
It's a wonderful film, but I just find it so slow compared to For a Few Dollars More, which is just a really great badass fucking gunfighter movie.
Yeah, and Clint Eastwood, man, is a fucking badass in that movie, man.
Lee Van Cleef, dude. Lee Van Cleef fucking rocks those films.
Didn't he show up like in one of those other movies, man, where it kind of like as a different character?
Yeah.
I mean, he showed
up. Fistful of Dollars.
Yeah.
Fistful of Dollars is a different character. And it's him versus Fistful or For a Few Dollars More. For a Few Dollars More is just Lee Van Cleef versus Clint Eastwood. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, but people watch these movies, man. Watch them, and I would tell people just to watch The Good and the Bad and the Ugly just because it's so referenced these days. And the Ennio Morricone soundtrack, Ennio Morricone, yeah, it's
who of course just did all this awesome stuff on Inglourious Basterds.
Inglourious Basterds, yeah. So yeah, you should definitely watch that movie, man. It's such a culturally referenced film that you'd be doing yourself a favor. And so whenever you hear something, you'd be like, oh, that's where that's from. So yeah, man. I guess we did a lot of show. So
we did an hour and almost 10 minutes of show. So I think we should get the fuck out of here.
All right. Well, Carlos says let's get the fuck out of here. So that's what we're gonna do.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.